views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Wow, everybody. It is so great to be connecting with all of you. We got a super show lined up for you. Actually, 2 hours of very, very cool stuff. You know, every once in a while, and many of you heard what happened yesterday when I was talking about, Benny and I were kind of on the edge of, a little miscommunication between our guest and coming on air. And we made a decision, a conscious decision that said, you know what, why don't you come back another time when we can do the whole hour? Now, the reason that we wanted to do that is twofold. One is because sometimes it takes an hour to honor somebody's life work. But the other part of that is, we started to talk about some of the things that have been shown to me and the folks on our team. The full spectrum of things. And, what's interesting about that term is that's a term that my friend and colleague, Lynn Brown, has come up with and is using. And today we get to hear about what full spectrum living is, but most importantly, what happens when we get these incredible ideas, these amazing things that we are called to bring forth in life. Yesterday, what happened is, I believe, as Lynn will know that she does throughout the show, we get channeled. And sometimes you just got to go with the flow. Got to go with the flow. And so yesterday we talked about something that many of you did not know we were going to talk about. But I will tell you that the response from yesterday's show and Take Back Talk Radio and what we're doing about that was through the charts. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because today, what happens with something like this is you then follow up with Lynn Brown, who is, her show is, Get Into It, Winning at the Game of Life. And now we get to take a journey with her that is about engaging in full spectrum living. Why? Because sometimes Spirit taps you on the shoulder and says, it's really time for you to take a message out into the world and take an action that somehow seems so much larger than who we are in the minute of things. Because sometimes we think we're the color red. Sometimes we think we're the color blue. And sometimes we think that we are no color at all. And what happens is we get stuck in the color that we think our life is about. But, here's what I love about this. What if you could live in the full spectrum of color and possibilities? What if you could do that? Today's show is to talk with Lynn about this fabulous platform she's built, Full Spectrum Living. Now, is this something that Lynn Brown had a year ago? No. But when you start to say yes to a larger picture of service in the world, I'm going to tell you, I cannot cuss on the show, but I will tell you this, some stuff starts to happen. And what is it going to take for each and every one of us to stand in a powerful yes? That's what today's show is about. What happens when you merge your life skills and talents with your God-given gifts as spirit? What will happen if we actually do that? What if faith and belief in something that you cannot see, but you know is present, guides the way? Are we able to blend the colors of red and blue to create purple? Jessica, you're going to have to check on that. Is that the right color? But here's what I want to know. Here's what I want you to know about Lynn. There is so much that she has said yes to presenting in the world. Whether you're working with her on spiritual financial planning, or whether you're working with her on intuition, or whether you're attending one of her retreats in beautiful, beautiful Pacific Northwest, which I actually think has a little snow right now, it doesn't really matter. What Lynn brings to the table by the demonstration of how she shows up in life is the full spectrum of possibilities for the people she touches, their hearts, their energy field, their lives. And what you will know when you walk away from it, especially when you've worked with her one-on-one and been to her workshops, you will be changed. You will be changed. You may have come in as red and you may be leaving as green. I don't know, because I don't really know exactly what full spectrum living is. But that's what today's show is about. I also want to say that when we're thinking about this is what's really cool about this. Lynn didn't know I was going to go off on a little rant about it, but I need to. So all of a sudden, you come up with an idea. Benny knows this. We talked about crust busting yesterday. You come up with an idea, and all of a sudden that idea starts to come to form. Now, for many of you, if you really want to see this idea, you can go to Lynn's new fabulous website. Now, it is 99% finished. But this is what happens. If you're going to talk about full spectrum living, you best get into it. You better get into it. And if you go there, you're going to go to lynnmbrown.com. And if you go there, you're going to see a glimpse of full spectrum. But today's show is all about the Lynn.
You got me excited to listen to the show.
Well, I mean, I think it's important that we talk about this because, the reality is a year ago, several months ago, this did not exist.
Correct.
Right. So now it does. And so the question really is, what happens when you merge your life skills, talents with your God-given gifts? What happens? Does full spectrum living show up? And if it does, how? Great to have you here.
I am so stoked to be here. I'm excited. I'm bursting at the seams to let this information out. Why? Because it's time.
Mm-hmm.
I've been, like you said, I've been tapped on the shoulder. I've been more than tapped on the shoulder. I've been, I don't know, not kicked, but it feels like it kind of feels like that much emphasis to get this information out and start changing and shaping the direction of people's lives and how we really can meld the spiritual world and the physical world.
Yeah. So what you did is you got ahead of the game before you had to be hit by a 2x4. That's what many of us in this world are striving for. I can't say that I have any idea of what that's like to be ahead of the game. I think I'm doing it a little bit now, but I would rather do what you're doing than to get the 2x4.
Yeah, me too. It's tough. I think it's challenging either way, but it's more exciting, I think, when you're surfing on the wave.
Yeah, exactly. And for those of you that are actually listening to the show, you can also go to the drpatshow.com or transformationtalkradio.com. And if you scroll down, you're going to actually be able to see what we're calling visual radio, an in-studio, live, interactive conversation about this. So, tell us a little bit about, where this all begins.
Well, it actually began for me probably a year and a half ago. And this is right when actually I reached out to you and I said, I don't know why I'm being asked to do this, but you keep popping up all over my world. And I don't know anything about radio, but I'm being guided to meet you or something, and we know how that ended up. But at the very same time, I have been running, at that time, a very, very stable and good financial planning practice, right? Here's the physical, mundane life. I've given I have many talents in the mathematical world and the business world, right? So we have one part of me running in that direction, full speed, and I'm very happy there. And also at the same time, I was opening up spiritually. I was starting to do major amounts of readings and healings and workshops. And something hit me about February of probably 2013. And what hit me was, oh my gosh, Lynn, I cannot keep up this pace of these two different worlds, because they're not taking me in different directions, but they're competing, right? I only have 24 hours in the day, and if I'm going to grow one of these businesses more and more and more, or if they keep growing at this rate, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work mathematically. And so something's got to give. And I could start to feel it physically and energetically. Now, I am intuitive. I do have those tools. So I started to notice this pull within myself and a little bit of an uncomfort. And, you know, I started to go within and say, what's got to give here? Am I supposed to shift? Am I supposed to shift out of this financial world? You know, do I need to drop the teeter-totter to 60-40 or, 70-30? What's happening here? And I said, I surrender, but show me, make it clear. And the message I got back was, and from a couple intuitive friends, but also by going within, and then universe showed up and said, yep, I'm going to validate this. What happened was I got the message that, Lynn, instead of you wearing two hats, you're actually going to combine those hats into one.
Wow.
I said, one? How does that work? I don't know. Go back to source on that one. So I thought, okay, this is kind of a crazy message. How are we gonna combine the financial world? Like, literally. Now, I know there's people out there. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. There's people out there who on the spectrum, since we're talking of spectrums, go from 0 to 50 on the inner wealth game, right? And then they say, okay, now good luck. When the material stuff shows up, good luck. Go find somebody else to help you with that. And then there's people who, like what I work in the financial planning world, once you have the money, now they guide you, right? But there's nobody out there, not that I know of, that does what I do or has that capability to take you from this inner wealth game across that bridge, get the money, and keep working, but staying infused, and here's the full spectrum piece, staying infused with that spiritual guidance. Right?
Yeah. What I love about this is what we're talking about is, one of the oldest terminologies that we have on the planet, and that is abundance. And, the idea of abundance for many years, and this is how you're different. For many years, the people in the spiritual community never wanted to say the, shall I dare say it, word, money. And what we've come to know is that, some of the most incredible acts of service are being performed in the world because people know how to generate money. But at the same time, if we're not doing the inner work on the spectrum, we're often baffled by why we are not manifesting what we need in the outer world. Today, everybody, we are talking about full spectrum living. Lynn Brown's in the house. By the way, comments, questions for the show, please feel free to give us a shout. 1-800-930-2819. When we come back, Lynn's going to take us on a journey of exactly what this means. What is full spectrum? And how does our connection with our source, higher power, get us to the place where we want to get to in the world that we can actually see? Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Get into it. Winning at the game of life.
Hi, I'm Tim Darter.
And I'm Steve Kramer.
Join us on Spirit Fire Radio. Discover how to add the mechanics of meditation to your day.
And watch yourself connect in a whole new way. Find the amazing moments in life's routines that often pass us by. Add to your awareness with Spirit Fire Radio.
Tune in each Wednesday at 9 a.m. for your weekly guide to practical mindfulness. And to learn more, visit www.spiritfireradio.com.
My dream is to end homelessness.
My passion is living a green life.
My dream is to end poverty.
My passion is volunteering.
My passion is making a difference.
My dream is to cure Lyme disease.
My passion is rebuilding communities.
My passion is helping those in need.
My passion is caring for the elderly.
My dream is to find a cure for cancer.
My dream is to leave a better world for my children.
We all have that special passion, that lifelong dream that drives us to live our lives with meaning and to create a better world. No matter what drives you, we can all make an impact. Dr. Pat Basili is helping others make their dreams come true, so we can all help make our world a better world.
To learn more about how Dr. Pat is building a community of sharing hope, strength, funds, knowledge, and information, visit abetterworldcrowdfunding.com today. That's abetterworldcrowdfunding.com.
Holistic Medical Center is where you find it all. A healthy space with doctors who care, see, and listen to the whole you. During the month of October, Dr. Darvish and the Holistic Medical team are promoting Breast Cancer Awareness Month with 25% off breast thermography. Safe, painless, radiation-free, and accurate. Purchase your breast thermography screening for 25% off now until October 31st to receive this special. Visit drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404. Do you want to transform your life's trauma and challenges into the gift that your life was meant to be? It's time for you to take control of your soul journey to heal, grow, and shine. Manifest your destiny with Wendy Wolf, soul transformer, energy, and psychic healer. To start your soul journey, contact Wendy at healgrowshine.com or email Wendy at wendy@wendyrwolf.com and start your adventure today.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
When I first saw you from across the room, I could tell that you were curious. Oh yeah, girl, I hope you're sure what you're looking for. 'Cause I'm not good at making promises. But if you like causing trouble up in hotel rooms, and if you like having secret little rendezvous, if you like to do the
That song, Benny, is from my childhood. Not so much childhood, actually. I could see myself doing all that stuff. You know, today it's really exciting to have Lynn joining us here today. And I wanted to say that, you know, you are going to be hearing so much more about how to engage in full spectrum living. You know, this is something that is an idea whose time has come. You know, whether you're looking at what Lynn just referred to as that inner wealth and outer wealth, that is not the extent to what full spectrum living is all about. You know, so today this is this is a journey into what does all of this look like energetically. And by the way, you know, what are you feeling now? Do you know where you are on the spectrum? You know, if you were to call into the show and say to Lynn, where am I on full spectrum? How am I doing? You know, this is something that's going to be like breathing for you guys once you start to see how powerful this is. But, you know, LynnMBrown.com, go to the website. It includes everything she's ever done, and it talks a bit about full spectrum. What you're going to be seeing there are images that represent the aspect of this. You know, the world of color, how we represent ourselves. And, you know, this is really kind of cool. What does full spectrum living look like energetically?
I'm excited to explain this because I think people, when they can see things and hold an intention and understand it even intuitively, right? It's all about intention. It matters how we see things. And that's part of the importance of what I'm showing and bringing forth to the world is it really, really, really does matter. We need to step up our inner game. Honestly, we need to step it up. There's my coaching coming out. There's my basketball years coming out. But let's step it up. when we do that, we're really going to start to see a shift in our external reality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time for people to understand that these two worlds are not separate anymore. It's time to start flexing those inner muscles. It's time to start exercising those inner muscles, saying hi. For some of us, we're going to look in and say, oh, hi, I didn't even realize I had an inner muscle, right? So wherever we are on that process, in that process is fine. The important part is to start, to keep going, to build. So energetically, you know, when I look at full spectrum living, and everybody can kind of imagine this with me because it does help you real time as you're imagining this with me.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at a color wheel,
mm-hmm.
and you know, you have the different colors separated. There's green, there's orange, there's red, and then in the middle, almost kind of like a cookie cutter or a donut hole. There's a donut hole. There's a hole in the middle. I put a sun in there.
Mm-hmm.
I put the color, a big, bright, vibrant sun in there. And what that represents to me energetically is how we have been shown or trained growing up and in society to separate the aspects of our life. And then I think the key is, you know, whether the green represents work, whether the red represents family, you know, there's these different aspects of our life that we engage in, which is fine. But in the middle, this is the key. In the middle where that sun is, I feel like we've separated that out as a separate color too. Like if we put a barrier
mm-hmm.
around that sun, and then that represents our spiritual aspect of ourselves.
Yeah, take a look at this. That's what people are seeing on the screen.
That's exactly.
That's what they're seeing, that image right there.
So
right
that's
there.
it. So
you see that?
So that's what I want to move to.
Yeah.
That's my end picture, right?
Right.
So now visually, now that we understand that we've separated all of these colors, let's say by a black line,
mm-hmm.
and put a big marker black line around the sun in the center,
mm-hmm.
in the core. Now I'm asking us energetically to remove that black line around the sun and let that sun blast out into all the different colors. Now, energetically, what starts to happen is the colors might turn from a matte to a vibrant, iridescent, magical colors, and they're brighter at the epicenter, and then they continue to just flow, and it brings life. Now, what happens physically
mm-hmm.
then in your life? You're like sprinkling and you're infusing all of these aspects of your life naturally with this spiritual guidance. And I don't think it's just guidance, it's magic. We're infusing your lives with the magic of soul, every aspect of your life. And it's not effort. Now, I'll tell you why it's not effort. Because if you just take the brakes off, that's how I see that black marker around that sun that prevents that bright light from shining out. We're embarrassed. We've been told we need to keep it separate. Da-da-da-da-da. If you unleash that, it's like unleashing the sun.
Mm-hmm.
When you unleash the sun, everything on the planet emerges. Everything on the planet grows taller, bigger, brighter. It's more lush. It's more active. It's more vibrant. We provide more oxygen for each other. I mean, the whole planet shifts. So what I'm asking people to do is notice for themselves, are they keeping that sun are they blocking that sun from infusing into the everyday aspects of their life? And if so, that in itself is effort. All you got to do is take the brakes off
mm-hmm.
and unleash unleash that inner sun, right? Which I believe that inner sun is our heart.
Yeah. I love what you're saying, because what you're talking about is, for many of us, we have put on the brakes at various points in time in our lives. We have put on the brakes. I mean, whether it was at age 3 years old, the first time you knocked off, a piece of mommy's crystal or something like that, and you got scolded, we learned how to put on the brake.
Right.
Not about appreciating something, but about the fear of appreciating something. And, through a lifetime, we have many, many times where we've hit the brakes. Sometimes you hit the brakes, and you really should. Other times, if you're driving through the Cascades and you're coming down Stevens Pass, you don't really want to hit the brakes because that is not a good thing to do. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow. Is that what you're talking about too?
Yes, because going with the flow, here's what I ask people too. Do you feel like, you're in effort, right? Life is hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I ask people, when are you going to stop swimming upstream?
Mm-hmm.
Because the universe has this natural flow.
Yeah.
And to me, the flow is awesome. I grew up in the beautiful Pacific Northwest,
mm-hmm.
and I played in the rivers every day.
Mm-hmm.
What a blessing. And what I realized was that I thought I was a good swimmer,
mm-hmm.
right? I thought I was a good swimmer because I swim downstream. The current would carry me. I would get in, not till college, I got in a pool, and I didn't move. I swam like a rock then.
Wow. Yeah.
But it made me realize there's this universal current that if you stop swimming upstream and you just start even floating, life is going to carry you. Yeah, you might run into some rocks or some twists and turns, but it's going to be so easy. And the best part is your job is to kick back and enjoy the ride. Here's another example I like to use. When you're floating, on your back, you have to be completely in surrender,
mm-hmm.
right? If you freak out or if you go into effort and you try to sit up and be in effort, what happens?
If you're me, you drown.
You drop. You drop.
Mm-hmm.
You start sinking.
Exactly.
That is the pure physical, that is how you physically surrender in your life. You have to be open and up and totally floating on your back and in no effort, and let that current carry you. Because the second you start to fight, second you start to be in effort, put on those brakes, you sit up, look around, what's ahead, you start to sink.
Well, we're going to take a short break when we come back. Lynn's going to talk with us about, how she's helping people globally make sure that they know how to float, that they know how to go with the tide, and open the doors for all the abundance you can possibly not even imagine. Inner, outer, together. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart.
A morning filled with dynamic, inspirational music, spirituality, and uplifting messages by TJ Woodward. Come and connect with community conversations and awaken your senses. Awakened Living Sundays with TJ Woodward. Join TJ every Sunday in the San Francisco Bay Area Chapel at Fort Mason and live streaming online 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time. To learn more and access the live stream, visit www.awakenedlivingsf.org. Has asthma or allergies got you singing the raspy blues? Allergy and Asthma Networks is the nation's premier nonprofit patient-centered network of doctors, caregivers, patients, and healthcare professionals who are dedicated to ending death and suffering due to asthma, allergies, and related conditions. Join President and CEO Tanya Winders each month on the Dr. Pat Show to learn more, and visit allergyasthmanetwork.org today. Breathe better together with Allergy and Asthma Network.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
If you're one of the millions of Americans suffering from anxiety, you probably know how powerless and out of control this emotion can make you feel. This is why it is so important to remember that anxiety is created by your mind, which means that you can learn to use your mind to uncreate it. Hello, my name is Dr. Friedman Schaub. My award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, provides you with a step-by-step breakthrough process to understand and resolve the root causes of your anxiety and build a solid foundation of confidence and inner peace. If you're ready to take your power back, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com. That's thefearandanxietysolution.com, or call 866-903-6463. That's 866-903-MIND.
I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's so great to be connecting with all of you. Thank you for tuning us in, turning us on. You know, certainly there's many, many ways that if you miss any part of the show. For those of you out there that want to get some insight, want to connect with Lynn directly, you know, we can open up the phone lines. I love doing that. And just tune in. I mean, you're wondering where you are in the spectrum. And, when you do that, just give us a shout at 1-800-930-2819. 1-800-930-2819. You know, the question is, what does all of this have to do with, intuition? Well, get into it. Winning at the Game of Life is part of this. If you are at the drpatshow.com or Transformation Talk Radio and you're watching the live video, you're going to be able to see a little bit more about what we're talking about. If you're watching now, you're watching me bob my head to the music or something that's going on over there. But for the most part, you know, we're talking about this idea of full spectrum living. And Lynn, you know, now that we've talked about this a little bit, where do people go from here? How do they get from where they are to where they want to go?
I think that you start to, again, we're taking off the brakes, right, and going with the flow. So I honestly check in with my heart because, again, the heart is the epicenter. And we can literally check in with ourselves each step, each decision. We can say what feels better and start to learn what is the communication line. What does that feel like? What does it sound like? How does your heart speak to you? Because it really is our epicenter. It guides us through every aspect of our life, every aspect of the color wheel, so to speak. Start practicing that. Just say what feels better to my heart, to turn left or to turn right here, and then just do it. Like make it a game. It's all about starting to learn that inner communication and that inner spiritual communication between you and your body and spirit and body. Take the brakes off. Here's an example. You know, energetically is one thing, but now day-to-day life. For example, if you're a dentist, right, and you have an internal, you know that you have a healing touch.
Right.
But in the world of dentistry, you're not supposed to mix spirit and dentist, right?
Right.
So, or people have a certain perception. Here, coming back to society, we got to keep these worlds separate. But if you are, and you are guided to say, touch somebody on their forehead.
Right.
Do it. Take those brakes off. Trust those instincts. Put your hand on their forehead for a second. Spirit's guiding you to do it for a reason. I believe that that person is going to accept it. They're going to do some internal healing. You're going to touch their lives in ways that you'll never know. And then Spirit's going to reward you for listening later, right? So it's like taking those brakes off in everyday aspects. You know, if you work in, say, a government agency that focuses on troubled families, there's a lot of stress there. There's a lot of heavy energy. Don't be afraid to lift the energy of your office space with essential oils or a healing lamp or a salt lamp, right? These little tiny things,
they make a difference.
Are huge.
Yeah, they do.
And you're just taking the brakes off. You're letting that effervescent light of healing shine through. You're letting it shine through into your workspace. You're letting it shine through into your volunteerism. You're letting that shine through into your family. And you don't have to go around telling people to change or telling people to drop and start praying. Or you don't have to say anything, but it's who you be.
Yeah.
It's letting that light shine through. And it's actually less effort to just go with that flow than it is to keep the brakes on. Because then you're not being authentic, and something inside of you will tell you that. It's just not comfortable.
You know what's really interesting about this is this idea. I was really struck by something you just said, and then we'll go to the phones. I was really struck by something you just said, and one of the things that you said was, and I was imagining how much I love candles. I really do. And I was just thinking for myself, where did I learn to love candles? Where did that happen for me? And I remember being this really young child, and I grew up Catholic in New York, and I remember being this really young child, and if you know anything about New York churches, maybe it's just the Bronx, one of the things that happens is, especially on holiday season, is candles everywhere. Everywhere. Nowadays, I think we got some electric thing that we do. I don't know. I just like an electric candle. But old school, you lit candles. And yet I'm sitting here thinking about, why don't I light candles in my house today? Mm-hmm. What is it about my life that something as simple as going buying a couple of little tea light candles, just putting them around, that I'm not doing it?
Yeah. I don't know.
No, she doesn't know.
I don't know.
On that note,
but let's get past it and light some candles.
On that note, let's go to the phones, Betty.
Yeah, we'll take Ron from Federal Way. Ron,
hey,
welcome
Ron.
to the show.
How are you?
Hey, I can light my candles.
Right. Well, good. After today's show, I know I'm going to do it. How can we help you today?
Well, I just had this gut feeling to call you guys because I've been following my intuition. And for some reason, I feel like it stopped. You know, I listened to it, and I'm in this world now of being a realtor, and I'm trying to follow my intuition, but so many things get in the way of following that. Mm-hmm. How can I be authentic and be in this profession?
That's funny.
That's
Ron,
a great question. You call the right time and the right place, Lynn.
Yeah, because Ron, I have something written down here for you, actually. I literally do on my paper. I have this message for you, and it says, if you are a real estate agent who intuitively senses energies in certain homes or alignments of places that you feel people would be more comfortable in, let people know that. Like, let people know, hey, I just kind of have this place feels good to me. And you can make it words that aren't so woo-woo or so, perhaps, I don't know, overbearing for people. But if you're guided, here's what I really have to say. If you're guided internally to be authentic, like you get a hunch about this one house, or you get a feeling about the energy of this house, I absolutely with no doubt know that you are meant to share that. Otherwise you wouldn't be given that message. And to trust it and to deliver it. And you can give it to your clients in a way like, hey, I know these are the 4 houses that aesthetically line up with what you're asking, but this one feels really good to me. I don't know why. And you could just leave it at that and let them have the space to fill, you're kind of giving them the baton, but you're opening up that flow of guidance. You're allowing yourself to do it. You're allowing yourself to take off the brakes. It's very funny. I literally have
it's on her
example.
paper.
I have it.
Ron, if you're watching, if you go to the drpatshow.com, what you're going to see is if you go to the middle, you're going to see the live streaming video. You're going to click on the play button, and there's a house with a for sale sign on it. And Lynn has in her thing, it says, if you are a real estate agent who intuitively senses energies in certain homes, don't be afraid to let your clients know if there is a place that really serves their particular energy.
Right. Right.
You can't plan this stuff, Ron.
No, I can't.
You can't
And
plan
I go in,
doing this. You're not. What do they call it, Benny? When you have somebody in the audience that you're not. We didn't plant you to call in.
But
we didn't stage this, right?
Oh, nice, good.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Ron? So now, what are you going to do with that little insight?
Well, with my clients, I'm going to just say, I don't think that house is quite right for you, but we can stop by and look. And lately I've started using my pendant as a fresh broom and clearing out all the energy that I feel in the home.
That's great. Yeah,
and
that's amazing.
Yeah, talking to the home and saying, okay, you're going to be sold. Now bring in the buyers that you want, the family that you want. And
that is great.
That.
Yeah, that's great. And, here's the thing, Ron. We need more people in the real estate agency, in the banks, in the financial planning industry, in these systems to start taking off the brakes and just unleashing this inner power. Because you know what? I will tell you by experience, the people on the other end, they want it. They want to go to a real estate agent who's not only in tune with the numbers and the mechanics of the process. Right. They want somebody who's in tune with them, literally, just like the financial planning. I mean, when I said yes to, okay, universe, I will merge these worlds, I was just flabbergasted on who started coming to me, like literally dropping out of the sky almost. The clients who came to me from that point forward were people that absolutely wanted me to be able to stop in the middle of a session and say, I see there's some fear around this popping up. Let's address that and then return to the mechanics.
Can you hear that, Ron? Because what Lynn is saying is, in order for you to fully emerge, you're going to have to let your energetic, intuitive side shine. And the people you will attract are going to be people that actually want you to do that.
Yep,
you see?
Absolutely. I bet my life on it. I'm betting my life on it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was hearing you saying, once you let your energetic side shine, all the clients came to you. So I'm just going to blast it out there to the universe that I'm available.
Yep. And here's another thing that happens, Ron. And this has happened to me in the financial world too. The clients that are open to the energetic piece and that are craving that guidance from their professional will absolutely spread that word that here's somebody who's not only in tune and listening on the physical plane, but is listening and is being guided by spirit. And people are hungry for that. Yep. And if for no other reason, they'll come to you. There have been half of the people who have come to me and started working with me in financial planning this last year, half of them have literally said, I would have never even considered or allowed myself to work with a financial planner because I didn't trust them or I didn't trust the system. But knowing you and your spiritual guidance and what you're capable of and what you do and your heart-centered focus, I surrender everything to you. Not everything. They don't come drop their gifts off. They don't come drop their assets off that. But they do. They surrender and they allow themselves to be vulnerable. And now you're starting to change the world. We're not just changing the real estate game. We're changing the world by doing this.
Yeah, I tell my clients that I'm not in it for a commission or anything. I'm in it to help them find the house of their dreams.
Yeah, I would change that, though.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
Let's change this because let me tell you what happens with that. And this is what Lynn was talking about earlier. If you do that inner wealth work, you have permission to get the outer wealth work. And, to say to somebody you're not in it for the commission is telling the universe that you don't want to get paid.
Oh, geez.
Right, Lynn?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I'm like, can you imagine Lynn Brown walking around talking to people and saying, oh, wait a minute, free financial planning. No. I mean, look at from the very beginning of time, beginning of time, we learned how to exchange stuff. We learned how to exchange energy for goodness and kindness, and we learned how to exchange energy for material things and then exchange material things. So this is not a universe that says we are going to suck the life out of you, Ron.
Right.
That's not what it's about. So maybe Lynn can help you come up with a little different deal on that.
Yeah, it actually, Ron, it makes you more valuable.
Yeah.
It makes you more valuable, and honestly, you should be getting paid more money for that. I mean, now let's just take my example, and I feel very confident and very certain with this because I see the lives changing in front of me. What other financial planner is going to stop in the middle of a session and say, oh, I see that there's some past life fear around effort and money. Let's go ahead and clear that. Let's clear that from every generation in your whole history. Up your mom's side. Let's clean that. And that just, what financial planner is going to do that?
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, you see it. And so, see, by the very nature of how you show up, Ron, you don't even have to say that to people. They're going to see the value added in what you bring to the table. That's what they're going to remember. They're not going to remember anything about the commission or anything. They're going to see the value added, the insight that you brought that helped them acquire their dream, right? Or help them sell in order to acquire another dream. Got it?
Yep. Got it.
Okay, thanks, Ron.
Thank you for calling in, Ron.
Thanks,
that was
Ron.
really validating.
Let's keep going to the phones, Mr. Benny. We're just going to skip the break if we could.
It sounds like a plan. Renee from Kirkland, welcome to the show.
Hey, Renee.
Hi, Dr. Pat. I've got a question about going with the flow, and this is kind of a personal one. I just met somebody last week in another town that I was instantly attracted to, and they were instantly attracted to me. And my heart feels like it's a good thing, but then I start to go with all the excuses. I'm older. I don't live in the same town. Yada. I mean, it goes on and on. How do you shut that off and still go with the flow and truly listen to what your heart's telling you?
I think that that would warrant some inner work. Yeah, inner work.
Okay.
Inner work. And what that means is getting down into the energy systems where you might stumble into a roadblock, and we just take that out. We take the hurdle out. We take the roadblock out. That's inner work, and that's something that we could do, one-on-one. That's something that we can give you the tool. I can give you the tools to do, so you can do that inner work all the time on different aspects of your life. You can't, like I said, and I think we've said this a couple times now, and I said it is so important to understand. It is time to do the inner work. If we want the outer world to change, we have to do the inner work. Yeah. It's time to stop reading about it. It's time to stop talking about it, and it's time to start doing the inner work.
Yeah. I mean, what you're talking about here is it's time to clear out some of the things that are really weighing you down. Because you can't flow, you can't ride the river, you can't go down the stream if you have, 100 pounds of cement on each of your ankles.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I get that. I absolutely do. I'm tuning into your show late, so I don't have your guest name or contact information. So
right now, boy, perfect. Let us give you that information, and also Lynn's going to tell you how to you can get a hold of her, and she's got a really upcoming event we're going to talk about. So thank you, Renee. Thank you so much. Lynn, why don't you tell people how to get a hold of you, and let's talk about your upcoming event.
Sure. My website is ruintoit.com. That's the letter R, the letter U, intoit.com.
And it's Lynn Brown.
Lynn Brown. And my new website that's emerging is lynnmbrown.com. It's not done yet, but there's a lot more information on there. It's pretty expansive. And my number is 844-BE-INTO-IT. If you want to reach me directly or send me an email, again, it's lynn@ruintoit.com.
And I want to just tell everybody about, a couple of events coming up. And those are important to tell people about because part of this is really understanding that you can go to some of these events and you will learn how to get some relief here and some tools.
Absolutely.
Right? And I know you've got a couple of them here. So why don't you tell folks that this is also something else that you're doing?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I stand for is giving the people the tools. Mm-hmm. I feel like they're borrowed. I'm borrowing them, but I have them so I want to set them out for everybody, and I encourage everybody to come get the tools.
I love it.
That way you can use it whenever you want to. You don't have to lean on somebody to give them to you or fix you or help you or you once you have the tools, you get to use them all the time whenever you want to. So That's what I teach. And so November 22nd at the Maya Whole Health Center in Renton, there's a 2-hour workshop I'm doing. It's called Shift is Happening. I'm really talking about real-time shift energies that are happening. Yeah. I'm going to lead you through a grounding and cleansing meditation, which is infused. I do some infused healing with that, so people's life is going to shift right there. I start to have people realize that they can see and feel auras. You know, it's time to get in the game and start realizing these things.
Yeah.
So you would have to contact Maya Whole Health to register for that. It's fun. I did it last month, and they want me to come back and do it again already. And then November 24th, I'm doing a guided meditation with Ascended Master Lakshmi here in Bellevue, and I'm doing that with another healer friend of mine, Wendy Wolf, and we do phenomenal work together. And Lakshmi is actually one of the Ascended Masters that showed up at one of my last financial planning presentations. Now, here, talk about mixing spirit and earth, right?
Oh, boy.
Lakshmi showed up saying, I want to run the energy in this room while you're doing this financial presentation.
And you, of course, said yes.
And I said, bring it. And then later I said, okay, who are you, Lakshmi? And she is Ascended Master of Wealth in all aspects of your life. So it's funny how that happens for me, but it's a norm now, but it's kind of neat, you know, following the breadcrumbs of the universe and who shows up to help you when you're open to it.
And and for people that are listening, Lynn is also going to be, you know, telling you when her next financial planning event is happening. So there are a lot of things that are happening, but you know, now is the time to take a look at how is your meditation, how is your practice, and what can you do. And if you're like me, you don't want to do it alone, right?
Right. I think, you know, the energies, there's power in numbers. You pick up from other people's energies. You pick up from the Ascended Masters that we bring in to the meditation sessions and I don't talk to people. I talk with people and I show people. I think that's important.
Lynn is so cool. I want to be Lynn Brown when I grow up. Don't email me. I'm okay with who I am. I'm just telling you right now. It's okay. You know, I got an email yesterday. Are you okay with who you are? I love who I am, but I also love who I'm becoming. Let's talk about what the messages are here and just summarize, because we're talking about full spectrum living, which is important. And folks are going to hear a ton about this as we move forward.
Right. The next show, and this is important to me because it's the epicenter of my life, and I firmly believe that this is why, this is my mission. You know, I've been tapped on the shoulder 2 years ago, but I've been recently tapped on the shoulder about a month ago to really turn up the dial in the financial world and to lead people with this new perspective. And we're starting to shift the financial game, literally. People, you're going to see it change before your eyes. It's going to change so fast you're not even going to believe it's changing. But if you're at the front of the wave, it's going to carry you. If you're at the back, it's going to drag you. But either way, we're all shifting.
I want to say something, and I hope you comment on it. Somebody made a comment to me, and it is so not true, and I want you to really address it in future shows. Somebody said to me, I'm too young to have a financial plan. Then I had another person say to me, I'm too old to have a financial plan. So, hence full spectrum.
Yeah, I think the definition, I think we've been programmed to think what the definition of financial planning is. And I think if I'm reading that statement right, these people think, A, I don't have enough money, or B, I've already retired. And to me, that's only 1/50th of the full financial picture. What is Social Security? Those are decisions that you make once and can't necessarily change the impact to you for the rest of your life.
Boom! Ask me about that. All right. Right? There we go.
Your beneficiaries, your benefits at work, are you optimizing those? Those are all things that absolutely impact every step of your life. And if you're not senior and if you're not confident in those every day, then you're kind of becoming, you're being reactive rather than proactive. And I think it's best to be educated and being senior. Being senior to any topic in your life is great, because then you're running the ship.
I've earned that title, man. I'm telling you, I've earned that title.
So even if you're young, you can be senior.
I got the tattoos all over me about that. But, part of this is understanding that full spectrum living is for anyone, at any time, and at any age.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's required of us. I think it's our God-given birthright here. And I think, again, just taking off that divider that's dampening our own sun and letting that emerge. Here's the thing. I think somehow society has taught us that being big, you should be in shame. You should be shameful of being big. So people have learned to be big, hide themselves or be small, just small enough under the manager, small enough under the parent. And I say, we're all spirits. We're all equal, and if we come in with a certain gift, let our freaking light shine. Yeah. Let that blast through, because like the physical sun does, you are a physical sun. And if you let your sun shine through, it literally changes the world around you. It changes the people around you. It brightens them. It allows them to grow and expand with ease. They don't even know it, but you're changing lives. Yeah. As long as you let that sun out.
You know what? Here's the deal. You can be big. As a matter of fact, you can be epic and still be humble. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.